Hey everybody! So this is the Shit Not Known About Cosplay. I am your host, Jessica Cosplay, also known as Jessica Sarabia. What's up? Hey, how's it going, guys? So as you can see, I've moved into a new house. It's like an hour and 20 minutes away from all of y'all who typically watch these videos, so I'm sorry. Once there's a house party set up, I will let you know. And you can come here and check out my house. Um, so I noticed that on my design video, I didn't get that many views. Am my butt hurt over it? No, but I do realize that it was a little bit more complicated, and it was like a slideshow with video, audio commentary, and everything like that. And it kind of helps people, but it doesn't quite. So this is going to be a segue into budgeting and from design to this part. So this is why I emphasize in the budgeting part of this video the importance of design. When you do your design, you're going to sit there and figure out all the materials that you're going to need. That goes into budgeting and how you budget stuff. Where do you purchase your supplies? What are you going to do? All that great stuff. What's your big characters? Have you planned this out? Do you see how everything's interconnected? I feel like this turns into the segments into like how to cosplay for dummies, and it's not intended to be that way. It's just for even seasoned cosplayers. It's here to help you figure out things to make things easier and on a very tight budget be able to accomplish what you want to do, because that's what I'm on. I don't make a buttload of money. I do not. And when it comes to large cons and all this other stuff, I purposely save a huge amount of money for it. Like my savings that would have gone to doing 2 or 3 large cons went to the purchase of this house. Yeah. And that was over like a 3-year span. So yeah. And if you're thinking they're like, oh my God, it was a buttload of money. How did you do it? It wasn't that much money to put down on this house. It really wasn't with this company called HomeWise. So it really didn't cost that much money for us to do it. And all of my money went into purchasing this house. So we're going to go ahead and start out with basically, you know what materials you're going to need. You know what you're going to do. You already planned your costumes. So this is the way I want you guys to think. The easy costumes you want to do at the beginning of the year. The harder costumes you want to do at the end of the year. The harder costumes are the ones I mean that are like buttload of armor, that type of shit. Okay? So I want you guys to think of it that way. And the reason why is because you're going to be using 2 funds to go ahead and fund your cosplay dreams and aspirations. And I want you to go ahead and succeed when it comes to doing a costume the way that you want to. And I don't want you to have regrets about how much you spent on this costume and everything like that. Like, it's very easy to spend like $100, $1,000, $200 on an armored costume. It's very, very easy. But that is purchasing that's purchasing materials. I shouldn't say just fabric. It's purchasing materials and not researching out your distributors. So that's number 1. Research out your distributors. The huge important part about this is because you can find distributors that will give you things for cheap. I have a plastics distributor. They specialize in all kinds of plastics, including thermogenic plastic, aka Warbler, Wonderflex. those kinds. And they know too that it's used for costuming, and they call it Warbler. And so when I go through this distributor, I spend $200 with them and I get a buttload of Warbler. And that is like my end of the year purchase. So I've said that before, EVA foam, Warbler, that type of stuff. I save those towards the end of the year so I can make the big purchases so I can do it for the next year. And that way I can go and kind of get the cheat on starting the big build of the costume at the beginning of the year. For you guys, you're just going to start out at the end of the year for the first year, okay? Because then what's going to happen is you're going to go ahead and purchase enough for your first costume, and that's it. And then you're going to have some leftover money to go ahead and start building your next big costume, which you're going to have the funds for at the end of the year to build the next one at the beginning of the year. Do you see how it's working? Awesome. The first fund that you go ahead and do is your big build fund. Now you can put as much money as you want into your big build fund as you want. The most amount of money I put into my big build is $70 a month. Figure out how much that is, and I guarantee you that's how much money I spend in supplies of Warbler, in EVA foam, and that type of stuff. Now, last year I did very minimal Warbler amount of work, and for this year I came into being that costume of Icarus, which I retired. I set it on fire and gave it a ceremonial goodbye and got rid of the costume like I do for every single retired costume I do, or decommissioned costume. I actually destroy the costume so it can never be replicated or redone again. And if it is replicated, it is off of a photo. But that's besides the point. So I put $35 every single 2 weeks, which is not that much money, into a fund, and I keep the cosplay funds in one institution. So 2 funds, big build, minor stuff, minor cosplay stuff. Minor cosplay stuff I buy on eBay. I buy fabric from Joann's using coupons. I buy from Home Depot, Lowe's, stuff like that that's readily available. Readily available in the moment, necessary cosplay stuff. And then I actually spend roughly about like $20 a month. Well, not $20 a month, sometimes $20 every 2 paychecks. So $40 a month. So that helps me go ahead and keep things all together. You can buy a lot of stuff for $40 a month when you go through eBay and when you go ahead and use coupons and all that stuff. You can actually buy a lot of stuff that works and some stuff that doesn't work. And that's what design is all about, is that you're going to troubleshoot and see what works for you and what doesn't work. And that's kind of how it is with cosplay. You're like, shit, this works. Great. Awesome. Shit, this doesn't work. Shit, I got to fix this stuff. Shit, 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 shit. Like literally I go through like saying shit, 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 like all the time. Like shit, I gotta do this. Shit, I gotta do that. Shit. So those are my cosplay costumes fund. Now for cosplay travel and con fun, I have a credit card for that. And the credit card allows me to purchase my hotel room. It allows me to purchase my passes, including my handler's pass. It includes travel expenses, those type of things. And I pay that off at the end of the year. Well, because I'm making payments on it throughout the year. And even if I don't pay it off completely at the end of the year, I still have enough money to pay what I'm going to do based off of that stuff. I do usually have a bigger savings, and that's my personal savings, and sometimes that does get used for larger cosplay expeditions or cons. But like I said, it went to the purchase of this house, so I didn't do any big cons like I normally do. And I end up using it kind of like where I go to a con and it's a vacation. So like for me, I'm like, yay, I'm going to Phoenix. And yay, I'm going to go to Phoenix Con. And yay, I'm going to go visit my sister who lives over there in Chandler and see my niece and nephew. So I turn it into a vacation. It's not like I'm going to be there for the weekend and I'm done. I'm going to be there for like 7 days and then I'm going to be coming home. And that's my vacation, is doing a con and doing some stuff that I want to do. Or sometimes 2 weeks, depending on who wants to go with me and who wants to pitch in for the trip. Because I don't pay for everybody. I mean, if I'm doing a big vacation / cosplay fun thing and you want to come along, you're contributing to that, because I ain't paying for you. I'm paying for me. And I'm paying for like the ticket for my handler, like to get in there. But if you want to be part of the vacation aspect of it, then you do that. If not, then, you know, you're going to get a little bit of expensive money from me to be my handler. Like, I'm going to pay you to be my handler, which, when it comes to purchasing and paying for handlers, keep in mind most of these people are friends and family. So it's usually me going ahead and saying, will you be my handler? Yes. Cool. Will you stay with me at the hotel? Yes. Cool. I'm buying a hotel room anyway. Are you hungry? Yes. Cool. I will buy you food. You're going with me to the con? You need some tickets. Cool. Done. That type of stuff. So that's how I do my cosplay stuff. And for financial purposes, I have 6 accounts altogether. So I have 2 for cosplay, 2 for savings, 2 for everyday. Why do I do things this way? Well, this is the secret of the reason why I do it. Number 1, your cosplay stuff needs to be slightly readily available for when you need to do purchases. So it needs to be linked up to one of your bank accounts, so you can go ahead and transfer the money when necessary. Number 2, the one that's the most difficult to get to, which is a credit union that you can hardly get to, that has minimum to no internet access, or if it does, it takes you a long time to go through the internet to get it and everything like that. You don't have an app for it. You purposely set it up that way. If you really have to go ahead and go drive to this place, it's annoying to get to. That's the 2 places for your savings. One is your emergency fund. So in case any emergency happens, there you go. The other one is going to go ahead and be like your overall savings. So I can't tell you how much you're going to put in there. I can tell you that I put $50 every single month into the bigger one, and then when I receive school money, I put the school money in there as well too. And then I go ahead and I put like $25 to maybe $40 in the emergency fund. I don't make a lot of money. I am a college student who's getting a master's degree. I am a disabled individual. I am working 2 jobs. And like I said, I don't make a buttload of money. And when it comes to cosplay, do I make money off it? Not really. I don't. Cosplay as a business, one individual was saying that if you approach this as a business, you're going to fail. You have to approach it that it's a hobby that you want to turn into a business. I'm not saying who said that, but there is multiple people who said that, and I agree. You can only make a certain amount of money. And for me to go ahead and really maximize me purchasing and justifying a table cost, I need to have enough inventory to where, based off of one thing that would be easy to sell without being cosplay related, I would be able to go ahead and make that money back. That's one of the secrets of running a table. You need items that you can sell that aren't necessarily going to go ahead and be cosplay related. Other stuff. Okay? So that's pretty much budgeting in a nutshell. When I go ahead and I do things the way that I do, I also weigh the costs of certain items. So like I said, I go through eBay. Now, there are things that I will purchase, like leggings, that are cheaper to purchase through eBay than they are to make. And what I do to go ahead and make those basically what I can justify being hand stitched. It's like basically I'm purchasing the fabric. So I spiral stitch and I hand stitch all the stitching all over again. So it's like it's like you sent me the fabrics and it was tacked already for me to sell and to sew. Well, not to sell, but to sew. So that's how I approach it. So I spiral stitch all of it. It's one of the most amazing stitches in the world because it's hard to go ahead and rip the seams. So I do that with all of them. I redo all the seams in all of my costumes if I do purchase an item that is cheaper to purchase and then rather to make. And those are the type of decisions that you have to make. I do a lot of modifications to certain parts of my costumes and to practically all the costume. So the fact that I'm taking apart this costume completely and I'm remodifying it and setting it up to where it fits my body perfectly means that I'm hand stitching everything again. For competition criteria, that still qualifies it as being handmade. And anyone who wants to argue with me about that, we can debate it. But there is a good reason why I say it's still considered to be handmade. Because you are basically reusing, repurposing, resetting up, and doing that fabric. And you're redoing everything possible for that particular part, okay? If it's purchasing a head pattern online so you can make a helmet, rather than sit there and put on a bald cap and doing a body cast and all this other stuff in order for you to go ahead and make a helmet for your costume, then there you go. It is not an easy thing to go ahead and do that. And sometimes you need help and you can't do things by yourself. I don't have a life cast of myself. I don't want a life cast of myself. I want basically a foam head that I can go ahead and do patterning on and do my wig work on. That's what I want. I don't need to go ahead and have a life cast because it scares the living shit out of me with the idea that literally you can suffocate me and kill me by trying to make a cement version of me. Yet no. So that's the reason why I say those things. It is not a bad thing to have patterns. It's not a bad thing to make your own patterns. It's not a bad thing to go ahead and take your time and build a costume. It's not a bad thing to go ahead and find things that will work for a costume that are already pre-made that you can go ahead and put on there. When you go for competition, 50% of your costume needs to be handmade for it to qualify, and that's a good majority of cons everywhere. So if 50% of it is fabric sewn and you've got certain pieces that were not made and you specify that to the judges, they should be cool with that. And if they're not, that's horrible. The two characters that I'm doing, one of them has 2 costumes. So I'm making 3 costumes. I could have just done this, but 3 costumes. And it's going to take some time, and I know it's going to spill over into the next year. And I actually have only 1 costume that I have intended for next year, and that's it. And I have pushed back Lady Deathstrike to next year, which I've been pushing back Lady Deathstrike for a while now. And I might not even do her. I might actually do something from Bubblegum Crisis or some other costume that would be armor building and everything like that to kind of get my skills up to par. And I think it's going to be little pieces of armor and stuff like that. Like when I did my belt for Raven, that's the most that I did. So I don't want to do huge amounts of stuff. I still want to go back into small parts. I haven't done Warbler as much as I would like to. So that's another reason why I would like to do it again and work with EVA foam again and stuff like that. So we'll see. I don't know which character it's going to be. Part of me has 50% of Lady Deathstrike done. So I honestly could do it, but I don't know if I will. And that does happen to me a lot where I will start purchasing and planning a costume and then I end up not doing it. So I save part of those things anyways because I can use them for another costume. And that's part of the design and also the building aspect is you're going to find things that do work and things that don't work, and you're going to spend money. And that's why you have your big build money that you don't touch until the end of the year, and you have your readily available cosplay money every single 2 weeks to go ahead and compensate for shit, this doesn't work. Shit, this doesn't work. Shit, this does work. Yay. You know, that's what it's for. That's how I do budgeting. Simple as that. And hopefully it helps you out more now watching this video. Please go back to the design aspect video and review what I was talking about. Oh my God, I'm making it sound like I'm making you guys do schoolwork. Review it if you want to. Again, if you want to go ahead and purchase any prints and all this other stuff, selfish self-promotion. At the end of this video, we'll give you the information. If you have more questions and you want to talk to me about it, please feel free to message me. I cannot stress this enough. I am more than willing to help other cosplayers, and I'm more than willing to make sure that you guys succeed at the costumes you want to do. Even if it's a simple question as, hey, Jessica, how do I make this? I will be more than willing to help you because that's what I do. Okay? I'm not saying that's not what other cosplayers do, because they would. But it's what I'm willing to do too. Love you guys.